Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about the finals. Remember that game that was being hyped up as this crazy free-to-play game show, a destructive, insane game that I had people in my comment section and even some of my friends telling me it's the best first-person shooter they've played in years and so on and so forth. And it was a game that I was very critical on about the skill gap and the lack of solo modes and the lack of just basic modes was going to be the downfall of that game, and that if there wasn't enough content at launch or quick enough after launch that the game would see its demise pretty quick. Well, yeah, that game, it's dying, and it's dying very, very fast. Now, before we skip too far into the video, just know that this is all opinion and based off of analytics and all that kind of stuff. So, if you enjoy the game, keep playing the game, have fun with the game. I'm not here to tell you what to play, how to play, when to play, but this is just from a perspective of my opinion and what looks like the trend is for the game right now. So, if you guys enjoy the video, smash the like button, subscribe, and let's hop into it. Now, the finals is probably one of the most gorgeous first-person shooters I've played in a very long time. And I'm not talking about the way it plays, I'm talking about the visual side of it. I think the game is beautiful. And I do think there are elements of the game that are really, really fun. I think there are some things that they've done really well. The graphics, the destruction, all sorts of stuff like that is really, really cool for the finals. And I've thought that, it's nice to see a change in that. But when it comes to the game overall, the player base is quickly dying off, and they're dying off just in mass amounts of numbers. Last night I checked on Steam at peak times around 5 p.m. when a lot of people are playing after work and school, and it was at like 19,000 players. And this is a game that at one point when it shadow dropped was like up into the 300,000 to 400,000 concurrent players on Steam. So a number drop that big, obviously it's expected to lose players when it launches, but a game that's supposed to be such a fun FPS and competitive game has quickly died, and it reminds me exactly of Hyperscape. So if you guys don't know what Hyperscape is, Hyperscape was a free-to-play BR from Ubisoft. It was actually a really fun game, but the one thing that set it apart from almost any other BR out there was that there was a learning curve in that game that if you played just a normal amount of video games, like you just came home from school or work or whatever it might have been, you were getting your ass ate by players online that devoted their whole life, never touched grass, and dipped their Oreos inside of water because their father never came home with milk. But that was a game that really took over the world for like a week, and people loved it, and then all of a sudden people were like, God damn, this is sweaty. This game is impossible to play. When I played the finals beta and playtests in the past, and then eventually the open beta with into full launch, I said the one thing this game doesn't have that's going to probably kill this game is the fact that, number one, you have to have 3 players to play the game, and if you don't play with your friends, it's boring as shit. The solo mode they added is quite awful, and it's not fun in any way. It feels like kill confirmed that you just turn your money in, and that is, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like it's riddled with hackers. That or I'm playing against God himself every time he plays it. Call me old, but I don't like the fast-paced stuff like that anymore. And then going alongside that, there's no like basic mode for players to hop in and play and have fun. There's no team deathmatch, there's no free-for-all, there's nothing like that players need to have inside of a video game to gravitate towards. The reason FPS games become successful is simplicity with some advancements in them. Call of Duty is successful because anyone and their mother can pick up a controller, keyboard, and mouse, even some controllers you use your feet for probably, and you can play Call of Duty. You can dumb it down to the point where people have fun with it. And again, skill-based matchmaking is something that's inside of the finals, is inside of every FPS game out there, and it's something that either you love, you hate, or it divides the player base completely. I don't know about the finals, but from my comment sections and other comment sections on videos I've talked to, Twitter and all that, people say that SPMM is all over the place, and it seems to be more like engagement-based matchmaking, kind of what Call of Duty does, where it is required for you to, go in, and the more you play against players who are worse, and so on and so forth. I don't know. There's so much going on with the skill-based matchmaking in the finals that I don't know how to feel about it, but the biggest thing is that the ranked mode is just awful, apparently. Ranked is full of cheaters. There's no anti-cheat. There is an amount of players inside the game that are really, really bad that just seem to be jumping into ranked, and players who are good hate it because bad players are playing it. Players who are bad hate that really good players are playing it. There's no real balance of teams and stuff. I don't know. I've seen that people want to roll queue. I guess that some things are more broken than others, which tends to come with every new launch of a game. But when it comes to something like that, That's make or break nowadays for video games. The attention span is TikTok brain nowadays. People don't stay around for long-term things anymore. I don't see players having long retentions on things that don't keep them engaged right away. And with destruction and fast-paced movement and all that going on, the average player who has TikTok brain isn't going to want to stay around and see that. Another thing that people have been very vocal about online when it comes to the finals is the lack of content, and the most recent update not balancing things properly the way they should have been balanced, and overall, they're just not happy with everything. I think Season 2 is right around the corner from what I read, so maybe there'll be a drastic change in that. I know a lot of people are saying that the player base is dwindling because it dropped during the holidays, and now everyone's back to work and school, but that's just not true in my mind. People play games after work and school. That's why I checked peak times when I did, because, yeah, obviously, there are not going to be a lot of players on at like 9 in the morning, but when you have peak times 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., when people are home from work and school playing games, that's when people get on. So the peak player bases for most games are through the roof. This also could just be because Pal World has taken over everyone's fucking life, and we've decided to just create all these sweatshops in Pal World. Can't lie, I've been sinking so many hours into that game off of content and off stream and all that stuff, because I don't know, I want to feel like I have total control over all these animals that are building me guns. It's a weird fetish, I guess. I don't know. But Pal World is a game that's taken over the world. It's got like 8 million total sales, and at one point had like 1.8 million players at once. So that could be another reason the finals in FPS games are seeing a drop. But another question I could ask you guys that I've asked myself many times is the FPS genre dying? Is the classic team deathmatch or classic FPS first-person shooter style games, are they dying? I don't think so. I think there's still a niche for them, but we know like the battle royale genre is huge. I think the next big thing is extraction style shooters. I think that's going to be really big. But like the finals doesn't have something that stands out to the average player. If you look at other games that have had success in the past, CSGO, Valorant, other first-person shooters like that, they've had something that stands out. Valorant and CSGO are that long match, single shot, high risk, high reward, single life mode. Everyone loves it. The finals has Bank It, which people enjoy, but it's crazy fast-paced, requires a team. You really can't jump in solo. Then you have games like Call of Duty. You have Search and Destroy, which is kind of that high-risk, high-reward. You can jump in, play solo. You can play with friends. However you want to play it, it just doesn't feel like the finals has it doesn't know its identity still. It has an identity, but it doesn't know how to use it. So when it comes to the finals, the final question of the video, no pun intended there, is do you guys think the finals is dying? Do you think it needs an identity change? Do you think something needs to happen content-wise? Let me know down in the comment section below your true thoughts and opinions on everything here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the past week or two of videos here on the channel that have been a little bit different. We're kind of shifting the channel to a new identity, back to news, information, gameplay, content, commentary, whatever you want to call it, and not focusing directly on one game. Going back to that whole kind of content perspective of, hey, this is the personality behind the microphone. You guys are here for the personality, not the game that's being played. And I hope you guys see it that way as well, because I love talking to you guys, love making video for you guys, so hopefully we can turn this into a full-time thing at some point in life. I love you guys to death. I appreciate all love and support recently here on the channel. You guys are beautiful, one of a kind, and until next time, guys, deuces, boys!